Hope is a powerful force that shapes our perspective, especially when we encounter adversity. It serves as a guiding light, helping us navigate uncertainty and hardship. Embracing hope encourages resilience and adaptability, allowing us to remain open to new possibilities. More than mere optimism, hope is a belief in positive change that motivates us to persevere and move forward with renewed strength. To cultivate hope during difficult times, start by setting clear, achievable goals and breaking them into manageable steps. This approach helps maintain a sense of progress and purpose. Connecting with friends, family, or professional networks can offer valuable encouragement and fresh perspectives. Focusing on small positive outcomes reinforces a hopeful mindset and builds resilience. By practicing hope and surrounding yourself with supportive influences, you can continue moving forward even when challenges arise. Moving ahead, hope can open doors to new opportunities and guide you through life's obstacles. When the path seems uncertain, hope empowers you to persist and overcome setbacks. Each hopeful step brings you closer to a brighter future, fueling your journey toward personal growth and fulfillment. Here's a story about never losing hope and finding a new path, focusing on a spiritual theme: the last seed and the gardener's promise. Silas was an old farmer in a valley that had suffered a relentless 3-year drought. His fields, once lush with barley and wheat, were now nothing but cracked, sun-baked earth. The river was a dry, winding skeleton, and the faith of the villagers had dried up along with it. Silas had lost everything. His granary was empty, and his spirit was brittle. He stood in the middle of his ruined farm, looking at the barren horizon, a heavy despair settling in his bones. "It is over," he whispered to the empty air. "There is no way forward, no path remains." He went inside his humble cottage and sank onto a stool. His hand brushed against a small, dusty leather pouch, tucked away in a drawer. It was his last remaining treasure, a single perfect mustard seed, given to him years ago by his grandmother, who had told him, "Keep this, Silas. It holds the power of a giant's hope." He looked at the tiny, insignificant seed. What good was one seed when the entire valley was a wasteland? It was a symbol of what he had lost, not what he could gain. He was tempted to simply throw it away, admitting defeat. Just as the thought crossed his mind, a gentle, unfamiliar scent, like rain on parched soil, drifted through his window. Silas looked up, startled. He saw no clouds, no change in the blinding sun. Then, a quiet, reassuring voice seemed to speak not to his ears, but directly to his heart. "My son, the path you knew is closed, but if you hold on to hope, I will give you a new one. Plant the seed." Silas hesitated. Plant it where? The ground was rock hard. It was an act of foolishness, a mockery of his situation. Yet, the voice, full of peace and quiet authority, nudged his soul. He realized hope was not about seeing the path, but about taking the step. He grabbed a rusted trowel and, walking to the very edge of his property, where the soil met the untouched rocky hills, he dug a small hole with great effort. It was the hardest spot on his land, utterly hopeless for farming. He placed the tiny mustard seed in the dry dirt and covered it, knowing he had just used his final resource on a chance slimmer than a thread. He then sat down by the spot, having nothing left to do but wait. The next morning, the sun was still merciless, but when Silas returned to the spot, he found something miraculous. A tiny, vibrant green sprout had pushed through the gravel. It was thriving. More astonishingly, right beside the sprout, a faint trickle of water was weeping from the rock face. It was not a gushing spring, but a steady, cool seep of water. Silas touched the water. It was sweet and clear. He hadn't found a return to his old life. The path of farming barley in the valley floor was still gone. But God, seeing his last act of faith, had given him an entirely new way. The single seed, planted in faith, had unlocked a hidden spring and created a new purpose. Silas spent the next months not fighting the drought, but embracing the new reality. He used the water to tend the mustard plant, which grew into a sturdy bush, and he dug a small channel to guide the water down the rocky slope. Other desperate villagers, seeing the impossible green life and the water flowing from the stone, gathered around him. They didn't replant their old fields. Instead, inspired by Silas, they learned to cultivate hardy, drought-resistant herbs and plants in the high rocky ground where the new spring flowed. Silas became a sage, not a victim. He looked at the vast, dry valley and smiled, understanding the profound lesson: don't ever lose hope. When one door of life's path closes and you feel utterly lost, that is precisely when God, seeing your faith, will reveal a completely new path carved out of the impossible. All it takes is the courage to plant the very last seed you possess.